Mary has chosen the better part and will not be taken away from her. This is the year of prayer. This is a year where we ought to hear the Lord saying to us, "Come and sit at my feet. Would you please choose this better thing, this better part?" This is a year where the Lord is saying to you, are you tired enough yet of all of the anxiety that you feel? Are you tired enough of being subject to the fear that you feel? The anger, the angst, the hurt, the darkness. This is a year of invitation of the Lord saying, won't you come and sit with me? Don't you know that I can heal you? Don't you know that all that ails you, that I paid the price for? Don't you know that I love you? And don't you know that you don't have to do all this scurrying around? You don't need to prove yourself to me. Do you believe in me? Do you trust me? Then wouldn't you just come and sit with me? Don't you know that I created you so that you would come and sit with me? Don't you know that you are beautiful to me? And that you're irresistible to me? Please come and sit. This is his invitation. But many of us don't know how to do this. We don't know how to shift out of this busyness that is so natural to us. And it's because you're good too, like Martha. And you want to be good. And you want to demonstrate your goodness. And so you think you do that, you achieve that by scurrying around and doing all of these external activities. You know, in the Old Testament passages that Jesus liked to quote, one of them was in the readings today. I want your obedience, not your sacrifice. In another place, he says something, another passage in the Old Testament, where God says to his people, I want your hearts, not your sacrifice. Which can be very confusing, because didn't the Lord set up the sacrificial system? So how is it he could say, I need you to sacrifice to atone for sin, and one instance, and another for him to say, I want your heart, I want your obedience, not your sacrifice. The answer is because he wants both, but because we can become disordered in the way we emphasize how we respond to God in a way that's not healthy. And what is the fundamental issue with this disorder? It's that we choose the active outward behavior, but it's not motivated by the deepest kind of love and conversion that he desires for us. This was the Pharisees, right? He said, do what they do, but don't live out the hypocrisy they live out, because they have all this external piety, but they're whitewashed sepulchres. What does that mean? They're in modern language, it's like a beautiful coffin that's very pretty on the outside, but there's a dead body in the inside. We're not alive to him in the inside. And he wants us to wake up and come out of that grave. He wants us to be free. He wants us to know how beautiful we are to him. Why else would he come? Why else would he allow himself to be spit upon and beaten and derided? For what? Because he loved? Because he gave everything? He had to do that to try to break through to us who are so easily distracted with things that mean nothing, like whether or not the table is set well or the food is cooked appropriately or whatever the list is. And he says, I would like for you and me to just be together in your messy house, in your messy life, in your brokenness. Can't we just get to know each other? Don't you know I don't care about any of those things? Don't you know what I care about is you and your heart? That's what I care about. Don't you know that I love you? I find it quite extraordinary that the King of Kings and Lord of Lords would bring his executioner into existence. That's how big his love is. Do you know who his executioner is? Do you know why the stripes were laid across his back and his flesh was ripped from his body? Do you know why the nails were driven through his hand and his feet? Do you know why the crown of thorns was pressed into his head? Do you know why he was a complete bloody mess by the time he died? Because of your sin. Because of my sin. We are his executioner. Do you realize the greatness of that love? That even though he knew that I would spit in his face and I would say no and I would mock his mother when I wasn't a Christian, he still yet then, as he conceived of me before he brought me into existence, as he knew what I would do to him, called me forth anyway. Gosh, what a great love. And he called me forth knowing he would pay the price for that sin, for your sin and for mine. Because he loved me, you more, so much more, with a love wherein he said, you are worth it to me. You are worth it to me. I know what you're going to do to me, and it's okay. I still want you. And I'm going to forgive you of all of it. And I'm going to wash it all away. And I'm going to give myself for you over and over and over again until you're healed, until you're free, until you're liberated. And then I want to spend all of eternity with you.